You know, we have seen so much in the news over the last few weeks about Tiger Woods, and he's been the butt of late night jokes. And I say we need to pray for Tiger Woods.
First athlete to make $1 billion.
But, you know,
yet he's crashed and burned.
There are men out there that can relate to what he's gone through. Maybe they're caught in the same trap. What would you say to encourage those men today, and is there a way out of that kind of lifestyle?
Well, certainly, you know, no one is righteous, no, not one. We're all fallible, and we all fall short of the glory of God. You know, Tiger Woods is probably the most highlighted one, but, you know, people in the church, pastors, laymen, we're all susceptible to temptation. And if you don't have individuals around you that you can get real with, that you can be transparent with, that you can be held accountable to, you're setting yourself up for failure. And that's where we really need to step out and encourage one another, either through your church, through your business, through your personal friendships, that we need to step out and form those relationships. Mm-hmm. Because as you know, when you expose things to the light, Satan can't get a foothold. But if you're struggling with an addiction, whether that be substance abuse, pornography, or that if you had, it wasn't even anything that you had done, whether you may have been abused as a child, that you're holding some of these things inside. We need to take the chance to be vulnerable with someone else that you trust. Not a lot of people, just don't get it out there, but someone that you can trust to share that with. Satan can't get that foothold. You can be set free.
Somebody close to Joan and me was sharing recently about having this relationship with another man concerning his computer. Where then there's, and you know about it, Chad, there's software that you can buy that will send a message to somebody else as to what websites that you are
accountability
visiting.
Friend.
Right.
How important is stuff like that?
Accountability.
You know, I've always believed that, you know, you don't put yourself in a position where you can be taken down. And if any time you get near temptation, be like Joseph, turn around and run. Get the heck out of Dodge as quick as you can. So if you do have one of those weaknesses, whether that be through the internet, whether that be through you know, type of substance abuse, you got to put safeguards up to promote that. You know, XXX Church has a great software package, and there are many, many others out there that can prevent that, where individuals can hold you accountable. You know, on the internet, when you're there by yourself, or if you're on the road, there are certain steps that you can take to prevent yourself so you don't put yourself in harm's way.
You know,
okay, wait for quickly. How do people get the book? I see the website on the screen, but how can people get the book?
It'll be in bookstores this week, but you can go to my website, chadhennings.com, to get more information about the book and where you can find it.
Okay, Johnny?
You know, I love what you said, and we were just having this discussion with some friends that when you allow that secret sin to stay in darkness and you don't allow the light of truth to be shone upon it, then it really holds you captive. And I think that's what you're talking about. And it's important that you develop relationships around you of godly men and women that you can trust and that you can be transparent with, and so that cannot no longer hold you captive. And I know that, Chad, you're available to speak. Tell us a little bit about any opportunities coming up, and what kind of groups do you speak to?
I speak to a variety of organizations, from faith-based organizations, nonprofit groups, to Fortune 500 businesses. And again, you can get more information about where I'll be and what I'm doing at my website, chadhennings.com. But one of the things, not to digress, but I think it's important to the conversation as to why I called it rules of engagement. One of the things when we would fly missions in combat, it would all be about don't bust your ROE, don't break the rules of engagement. Because in the Air Force, we have those rules because it costs somebody something. Typically, it costs them their lives because they busted it. And we can make that same analogy with our spiritual walk. Don't bust the ROE. And the ROE is universal truth, God's truth. And that's what I try to relay in the book.
So ROE is the rules of engagement.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I want to say that this is a book that every man should read. And if your man's not watching, you order the book. And maybe write a little inscription in there and say, you know, you're a special man in my life. I love you. You're important to me. And that will mean so much to that man, that father, that husband, that brother, that son, your grandfather, and encourage him to read it. And I want to encourage pastors to avail yourself of Chad's ministry, or businessmen. It'd be a great blessing. And you know, somebody like him with the platform that God's given him, men would come out and men would listen. If for no other reason, they'd be afraid Chad would beat them up. Big as he is, he's intimidating. Chad, would you lead us in prayer as we close this program today?
Lord, I thank you so much for your blessings.
Yes,
that we live in a nation, Lord, I thank you for this new year where it's a time of new beginnings. And I want to pray especially for what Joni spoke in her heart today, Lord. For those out there that are in need, call this ministry, Lord. Ask for them through your prayers and hold each other accountable. In Jesus' name.